Hey guys, it is Tammy with Cheers to Creativity, and I'm popping on to do a project with you because I just found out that some really fun stencils, this one for one, this is the Mardi Gras set, and the Buffalo Check Shamrocks, the Rose background, and Shenanigans Welcome. There might have been one more that are now on sale on Essential Stencil. And I have this big round I was thinking about doing for St. Patty's Day. So I thought, why not do it live? So if you pop on, please say hello. Let me know you're here, and that would be great. Otherwise, I'm just going to get going and painting. I'm going to show you what I'm going to paint on. This is an 18-inch round. So it's a little larger than what the Shenanigans one is calling for, but I'm not sure that's exactly what I'm doing anyhow. Right now, it is natural. I think it needs a little color, so I'm going to just grab hopefully a large brush. It'd be great if I had a chip brush handy. May not. I'm trying to decide if I want it to be solid or I might just go with using, hi Sharon, just using the whites. I haven't decided yet. Let me think. I know I want part of it to be buffalo checked, and I want shamrocks on part of it too. I think our background kind of needs to be a white or an off-white. So maybe, let's see what we have here. I have some white. Let's go with white. Okay. So I'm going to squirt some white down. This isn't going to be very exciting at all, but we're just going to go ahead and grab as big a brush as I have nearby. Let's just dampen that a little bit. And I'm just going to get this covered. I do think I want it to be a pretty solid coverage so that I have some contrast. So I'm just base coating this white. We have had a ton of snow. I know I'm not alone in that. I know a lot of people are getting the snow and the weather. Just so grateful because we did not have power this morning. We had it initially until right around breakfast time, and then it went out. It was out for a few hours, but it's come back mostly. So I'm hoping it stays on. We're expecting really nasty winds too, but you know, I think we're pretty lucky. I think other parts of the country have had a lot worse than this. So right now I'm just giving this a quick coat of white. The round I got at Michael's, I'll go ahead and post the UPC when I'm done. Nothing fancy. It's just a plywood 18-inch round. Like I said, if you were doing it just as they had designed it, they used a 16-inch. I just splattered myself with white paint. Lovely, lovely. I'll check for comments afterwards. My iPad is upstairs because I was working for a while up there while there was no light down here. And I'll check comments afterwards. Or I'll pop on here and there. But right now, all I'm doing is getting a good coat of white on this 18-inch round. So Essential Stencil has put a bunch more stencils on sale, or a few more. Oh, I'm being visited by one of my puppies. Hello, Miss Piper. Hi, girl. Did you come to see me? They know where the TREATS are, and they go stand by there. And then when I just sit there and continue painting or continue on my live and ignore them, they get frustrated rather quickly and just leave. So. Well, hello, May. I've got both of them down here. It's okay. I like having my girls with me. So I'm using Decor, just regular Americana paint. So just their regular acrylic paint. Nothing fancy. Nothing fancy. I'm going to put this brush in water. I'll flip this up and look at you and look at comments while I grab a blow dryer so I can dry this. Like I said, it's snow day, so I didn't do makeup or hair or anything today. Charlotte and Dorothy and Elizabeth, good afternoon. So we're going to be using this one and this one. And if you don't have them, they're now on sale. Hello, Debbie. I'm blowing things all over the place here. Almost there. Okay, I think we're dry enough to do the next step. So first thing I need to do is make sure I know where that hanger is. So as I'm laying this out, I'm laying it out so it's going to be straight. So let me grab the one. I'm not sure I wanted to say shenanigans. I think I might just want to leave it to be welcome. Haven't decided that yet, but if I haven't even opened this stencil, isn't that amazing? I've had it for a while, but I think I want part of my background to have some of that check. Do you like my shirt? My shirt is full of paint. It's very old, but thank you very much because it's all true. Grateful, thankful, and blessed. Oh, so blessed. So, yep. Let me grab this one out of here. So I need to decide if I want, because I'm going to have, I might get it right. I know we're going to have, this is going to be a shade of green. And the shamrocks need to be green. I wonder if it might be kind of cool if I did a center section that was green and then I do the letters white. It's a thought. It is a thought. So because it's designed to be on a little smaller thing, I'm going to have to repeat my pattern a little bit. So I think I'm going to move this up so I don't have to repeat it too far. So I'm going to need to pull that one out too. And I'm looking at this board and it's not completely dry, so we're going to have to hit it again. But see how it's nice and curved? If that was exactly the right, no, it's still going to be okay. So it's going to tell me where that's going to go and how much I can leave for my bubble. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to hit this with a dryer again. Happy Friday. I hope it's nice where you are. We're going to be hunkering down, I think, today and tomorrow. It's not that nice. Get this a little drier so I don't pick up the paint when I put down the tape. Not dry. One way to find out, right? Also, when you are drying, if you touch it and it's really cool to the touch, it's not dry. And that's important when we're going to be doing any taping because the tape would definitely pick up wet paint. Okay, so what I've decided I'm going to do is I'm going to take the shamrocks and see where they're going to line up nicely. It's going to come up here. I'm going to put you down. Hopefully you're going to be able to see this. Okay, so right now I've just added the shamrocks here. And what that's going to do is going to tell me where my spot is that I'm going to want to, I do want part of this to be a different color because then I'm going to come in here with, don't know if I like shenanigans. I think I'm just going welcome. And then down here, I'm going to make it buffalo check. Can we see that? So this is section 1, 2, and 3. So I guess the first thing I need to do is tape off where I'm going to put the welcome if I want that to be a different color. And of course, oh, here, tape right here. So I'm just grabbing some tape. Make it long enough. I'm just going to try to block off. I might go a little further up. I knew that this is where I want to start the shamrock. So I'm going to do this, lift this up from underneath there. Oh, shoot. Darn it. Well, it was a great plan, guys. It didn't quite work out very well. Let me see if I can save this tape. Real life, real life. Okay. Look here to make sure it's straight. What I'm going to do is lay this back, make sure I have enough room. So that'll be good. I'll be able to get all my little shamrocks in there. And I think we're pretty straight too. Pretty straight, yeah. So that's good. So then I know I want the welcome in the middle, but I don't need the shenanigans. So I probably can plan about like there. Let's grab another big piece of tape. I like the shenanigans. I just not sure I want it on my front door. So I think we're just going to go with using that. I'm going to move this off. And I'm going to go ahead and pick one of these other colors I had. Really seal down your edge. And I think I'm going to make this the brighter. This is holly green. Holly, we tend to think of Christmas, but right now we're going to think St. Patty's Day. I'm just going to squirt a little of this on here. That's a pretty good green. The other green I really like for St. Patty's Day, and it's not a true green, but it's called, oh, come on, nice, make sure that's down. It's called Jewel Green, and it's a little bit of a blue green, but it's really pretty. And I've used that on quite a few St. Patty's Day projects. It's kind of hard to think of St. Patty's Day in January for me. I feel like I'm just getting over the Christmas rush, but it comes up so fast. And this year, Easter is so early that you're going to hit St. Patty's Day and it's going to be Easter the next moment, I feel like. I'm going to grab a little more paint. Before I lift this off, I'm going to hit it with a blow dryer just real quick. It'll have time to dry while I'm working on the other parts, but we'll give it a little head start too. Sorry, I'm over here. I'm just figuring my edges here. It's like I need just a touch more. I might get by with just picking up a little of the paint here and there, a little more water. Even with base coating, I think you're better off with 2 thin coats than with 1 heavy coat. But I am also rushing and trying to get this in here so we can get to the fun part. Can we skip to the fun part? That should be all crafters who prefer to do all the stenciling and hand painting and not so much the sanding, sealing, base coating. All right, I'm just going to even this out best I can here. I'm going to hit it with a blow dryer. I do just want to make sure I've got enough paint here so I don't have to come back and add more right at that border. So let's just make sure that's good there, good here, on this end too. There we go. Maybe just pick up a tiny bit of water just to use what's left in my brush. I'm going to hit this one more time just super quick. I want most of this to be dry when we move on. I think I'm done with this brush though. Okay. Okay, let's see how we did. That looks pretty good. I'm a little worried about right up here. I should be. See? Okay, so I have a little bit of bleed. I'm first going to try the trick of just using a Q-tip and seeing if I can clean it up that way. If I can get some Q-tips. So I'll just take a damp Q-tip, okay, and just see if I can get this to clean off. pretty well. Get over here. If you grab another one. The reason you can do it, even though the paint is a little wet, is because I dried next to it. It's not picking it up as much as it does the wet paint. So let me get a little more here. Yeah, let's just get a clean one. May have made that worse. I'm over here. Sorry, guys. I think I'm going to be okay now. Just going to clean up a little more. Okay. So, look at that part. You guys are upside down. I'll turn it this way so it's easier to see. So all we've really done was we've got a section here. We've painted this section for where we're going to do the welcome. And then I have the lower section. So I'm going to start up here with my shamrocks. And I always like to tell you guys that if you have the ability to look at your stencil, and if there's any way to tell which one was cut first, and if I look at this, I can look at the top of it. Looks like it's the little one should be first. So I think I'm right. I'm right. Look at that. Oh, look at that. I'm good. So I'm going to put this a little closer to you. I'm lining this up. I might scoot it down just a touch, just about like that. I've got this tiny bit over here that if I want to come back and fill in over here and over here, that I could come back and fill in with another shamrock if I wanted to. But for right now, making sure that's pretty straight. I'm going to tape one here. I'm going to tape one here. I'm going to grab me a plate, and I think I'm going to do these different colors. So this is the holly green I used. And I picked up this color too, which is foliage green. The other thing you can always do is, so I've got this darker green, and now I've got paint all over me. So you can take, and let's just show you, if I pull this green and a little white, it makes a lighter green. It's different than that. So I can decide, do I really want to go, that's much more yellow, or I could just stay in the same colors and just have a lighter green. It's a little minty to me. I'm not sure I love that, but I'm not sure I love this either. Well, this. That seems a little too, Hold tight. I have another green handy, I hope. I hope. I love that soft foliage green, but I just think it's a little bold next to the holly green. So this is festive green. Let me see where that falls into our plans here. So I pull this up and I pick a little white. It's not as minty. You see that? I kind of like that, but it's not that far off of that. So that's what we're going to use. We're going to use a little bit of festive, is it festive green? Festive green. And I'm going to lighten some of it up with white too. So a couple ways I could do that. I could try to do light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, something like that. I could just here and there. Or I think what I might do, I don't know. I'm almost thinking about a sponge and just sponging them different colors so they're kind of modeled? Yeah, modeled throughout. How did I lose my big jar of sponges? I didn't. They're right there. I'm going to take that. So I said I like this color. And I like it a little lighter. I'm going to take that first. I'm going to grab me something that I can offload onto. And I'm just going to dab them here and there. And I'm going to go into that straight green. need to lighten some of these up. Let's see. We will see. I need a little more of that paint. So I'm not seeing that light version very well. So I'm going to just go ahead and do the festive green first, and then I'll see if I can come back and lighten some of these here and there. It's trial and error time. So this is just festive that I'm offloading on my paper towel. Just dabbing these in here. I'll be using a brush though when I go down to do the other section. I do the buffalo check. I like to do that with a brush mostly. So we've got these mostly one color at this point, right? Let's see what happens if we pick up some of that holly green. Picked it up on the dirty sponge. I'm going to just pull a little darker ones here and there. Maybe that whole one will be darker. And just bopping around. If I'm trying to keep these blended, I'm going to need to move rather quickly. So I picked up some white. Lighten some of these a little bit here and there. Get a little minty, so I'll add a little more of the other green. Just giving them a few different shades. Just want to make sure I've got all my stems. I think I do. Let's take a peek. Yeah, I mean, it's not a lot different, but it's subtly different that you've got some different colors in there. So that's kind of fun, like that. Our green section is still very wet, so I'm going to grab the buffalo check. So here's the buffalo check. Really fun thing is it also has a smaller one in it too. And I know this is a little more specific to the season, but hey, why not? So I'm looking here again, looking to see where I would have it. So this will be the right way. Okay. So I need to move some water over here so I have room to lay this down. And I want it to come pretty much all the way up to here. I'm not going to have to repeat much. So if I start that right there, and I'm eyeballing this so I just have a little bit on each side that I'm going to have to fill in. I think that looks pretty good. Okay. Again, I'm going to grab a couple little pieces of tape and tape it down. I think what this is going to need is some gold too. I do. So just tape down on each side. So we've got it over here and over there. And I'm just going to put you in the middle, so you might miss a tiny bit on each side, but you'll be good, okay? And if I tip it up a little bit, you'll see a little more. Okay. So you got to decide. We did these mixed colors. I think I want it to be a little lighter on the bottom. So I think what I'm going to do is actually mix some of this festive green. And I think I'm going to go ahead and just add white to it. And I'm just making it a little lighter. But I like that better than I do that more yellowy one we had. So I think that's a pretty good color. Put that back. I'm going to grab a good size brush. Crash, bang, boom. Crash, bang, boom. I'm going to grab a 3/4 inch brush and make sure I have something to offload this onto. So I've got the paint. I'm offloading. I like to pay attention to which way my diagonals are going because I like to kind of brush them that way. Now I will come in and use a swirly motion too, but I do like to make sure I get those diagonals covered really well. So I'll do a little swirl, but then I'll also go to the direction that they are cut in. I know, I'm off camera. Just chill. We'll try to go all the way down here first. I'm gonna pick up a little more paint. Offloading. Offloading is super important, especially on, I did not offload enough, I can tell you that. You don't want to have too much paint when you're doing the buffalo check. I'll swirl a little and I'll back and forth in those diagonal spots. A little more paint. Offloading. Oftentimes I can get enough paint just for my offload pile. I may not have mixed up enough paint. We may have to mix up some more. Oops. Swirl, 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 swirl. It's a workout today. Probably good because I didn't do my workout in this morning and I'm not really planning on it this afternoon either. Let's see, I'll start a little swirl in the middle here. These look a little bare. I've used this as a background a few times on that Irish Blessing one that we have too. That one's a really fun one. Sold that one on Virtual Home, I think. I can look. Oh, all right, almost there. Almost there. A little more swirling, a little more back and forth. I do know I'm going to have to come back and catch my edges. There's a little bit on each side that it's going to look off if I leave it. It was part of a discussion yesterday where we were talking about door hangers and if they're as popular as they were, if they're not as popular. We were started talking about porch leaners is how it all started, and we don't believe that porch leaners are as popular as they were, say, 5 years ago. We could be wrong. We've been wrong before. Mixing up a little more of this color. I'm going to hope we're pretty close. Looks pretty close. And I do try to mix enough of it the first time, but I just didn't have quite the right proportion, I guess. So grab some more. It's a little lighter, so I'm going to add a little more of that green. There we go. It's pretty darn close. Pretty close. Need to finish here. We're finishing up over here. I'm just going to do a quick little check to make sure I got all the spots. There we go. I did miss a couple down here. I missed a couple of the parts of the shamrocks. Okay, I think we're good. I think. Missed a couple up in this little corner. Okay, so let me take a peek. You can tell right here, this is way wet, so I'm probably picking up some paint there, so I might have to come back and fix that. So there we've got what we put on there, but can you see on the edges here, right here, and right here, just need to go back and match that up. And it's not hard to do. This is one of those times you just need to be a little patient. You need to make sure that you are lining up with the same thing, the same direction. So here, if I look, I'm going to move one more over. I'm going to line up this shamrock. I'm going to make sure those checks and the stripes all line up before I pick up my paint brush Offload it, double check it. See, I moved it when that wasn't so good. So you always just double check, tape it down, or at least hang on to it, and then where you want to look not just right next to it. You want to look all the way over so that you're not at an angle. There we go. That looks good. So I've got this guy. I just need to finish over here. Just one little shamrock. It's not much at all, but it really does help finish it off so it looks like you didn't care. So now I'm going to flip it over to this side, and I'm going to do the same thing. I need to find my shamrock so they match up. My paint. And I need to make sure that they match up all the way across, up and down too. And hang on to them, and then just catch what you didn't have on this side. A little too much paint. Because it's all matched up, if there's someplace I saw that was a little light, I can fix that too. One trick I'll give you when you're doing something like a buffalo check like this is if you have the ability to have something nearby you that you can just spray, even if you can't completely clean it right away, it really does help. Thank you for sprinkling. I appreciate that. So this is what we've got so far. Yeah, we've got the shamrocks on the top, and I think they go far enough. I might want to add one more on each end. I'm looking, that looks like it's a little bit too much space. So before I go any further, let's just figure out where I put that right here. And it doesn't have to match anything. So let's just gotta come down here. Let's just gonna say, and it doesn't even have to all fit. So I'm just gonna use the color that's on my brush. We know this was kind of in there. So one more there. And I think I need one more over here too. And it doesn't have, like I said, it doesn't have to match completely. So I'll come over here and I'm just gonna do a little one. And I'm just using the paint in my brush because I know those colors were incorporated into this part. So there it just looks a little more finished. Okay, so now we have to go to our green part. Oh, yep, got my power back. Yep, it's gonna stay. It's gonna stay. I'm gonna hit this. It's still a little wet, so I'm gonna hit this. All fussy because it's not perfect. I think what I might, I'm trying to decide if I want to like sand through it a little bit or if I want to just leave it as it is. I do think, yeah, I'm thinking. Let me grab the sign. I'm not doing shenanigans. I'm just doing the welcome. All right. Got to go over a little bit more like that. Just doing the welcome. I'm trying to think of how I could shadow them. So we've got them in a dark green. I think. This is Emperor's Gold. I'm going to do the welcome in gold first. Grab a brush. There. Now you can see welcome. All right. Something to offload on. Do my gold. Here's the gold. It's a very pretty gold. This is Emperor's Gold. It's a deco art color. I'm just going to do a quick little check that looks pretty close. I'm going to tape it down. And I'm going to do, I think I'm safe. I hope I'm safe. So here's the gold color. We're going to need to finagle our O a little bit. When I get there, right now I'm just doing my first, probably going to need 2 coats of this gold. We are experimenting just a little bit. So I'm trying to think how I'm going to do this. I think that'll work. We're going to have to fill in a little bit with our bridges, our bridge brushes, but that'll work. I'm not too worried about that. Now I could go find an O, but we're gonna deal with this. We're gonna be okay. The projects we did last night on Essential Stencil, I used the decorative tile stencils, and the one I used actually had a little bit of a fleur-de-lis pattern in it. So I could pick up that fleur-de-lis from the Mardi Gras set and maybe make napkins that could coordinate. Lots of possibilities. Okay, so that is kind of coat 1. We're going to hope we can just go back and give another quick coat. I'm picking up some more paint. I'm offloading it because we're just wanting to see the gold for our drop shadow, but we got to have this on there first. I'm going to hit it with a blow dryer. I think it's just going to, I think it'll stick a little better if it's completely dry. Blowing paper towels all over the place. I'm gonna grab a little more. Oh, this is not glorious. This is not Emperor's Gold. This is Splendid Gold. Emperor's Gold is a little better coveraging, and I don't have it here. I wish I did. Okay, well, that explains a lot to me. Explains why it's not covering like I'm expecting it to. That's okay. We'll make it work. We will make it work. Just gonna give it this another little coat. So here's an example though for you. So I'm not using the whole words that was on here. I'm not using the shenanigans welcome. I'm just using the welcome. So we know we can just use the word welcome. Those shamrocks could be a whole background just on their own. We're mixing it with the buffalo check shamrocks. So there's all sorts of ways to mix and match our stencils. We're pretty good. All right. This is the only one we're gonna have to play with, but I'll play with that at the end. I'm gonna lift it up first. Okay. And I think just real quick, just so so it plays nice all the way around. I'm just going to kind of use just a detail brush. This is just a round craft brush. And I'm just going to fill this in where it should all be gold. I'll have to do that again with the white. I might have to touch up a little bit of green around there too, but that's okay. We'll be good. Okay, so we've got those in there. I'm not worried about filling in bridges now, but there's ones that are very obvious. Again, so there's the gold. When you're going to do your drop shadowing, you really want to check the back to make sure it is good and dry. You want this to be good and dry as well. Check in some comments. Okay. So I'm going to lay it down just like I was going to put another coat on here. So you want your letters to all line up like you're really ready to tape that back down so you could add another coat. But instead, I'm going to slide it down about 1/4 of an inch. And I'm going to move it to my left as I'm sitting here. Just one way. About 1/4 of an inch. Then you just want to take a moment and just take a quick peek to look that you have about the same distance here, down here, down here. And if you want it to be more, it can be. That's my standard is about 1/4 of an inch. But if I wanted it to be a tiny bit more, I could. There, just make sure it's even. Okay, so I've got that down. This is just a mark off my O. That's still good. And I want these letters to be white on this green background. So I'm going to pour out some white paint. I'm going to grab a clean brush. And yet another paper towel. I'll offload it. And we're going to start swirling in the white for our welcome. I think I'm going to want to edge the green section that we have with gold too. I'm not sure. Sometimes you have to get one part done before you can think about the next thing you want to do. This is definitely going to need a second coat. Doesn't surprise me. I'm going over gold and I'm going over that darker green. I'll upload this brush. And we'll come back and hand fix that O. Just getting the E on there. I'm going to hit it with a blow dryer when I get this done. And we'll do it, give it another coat. As you can see the spots like over here that's not completely covered. Some of them are a little more covered, but we want it to be even. And certainly as it dries, you can see there's a lot more. Getting a lot of glare today. All right, guys. So I've loaded my brush, offloaded it, and we're going to just go ahead and give it a second coat. Seems like it's dry. So a little more for our M and our E. Uploading that. Just a tiny touch more, almost there. I appreciate you guys spending a little time with me this afternoon. It was very unplanned. There is something amiss, pardon me, with my texting service. I have yet to figure it out. So that is why I haven't been sending texts this week. I've sent a note to their customer care, whatever it is. I haven't heard back. So I should make that a priority when I'm done here. I'm trying to get this figured out before the weekend. Just giving another quick little coat across. Some spots that I see are a little lighter. I'd like to be a little more consistent. All right, the big reveal time. All right, let's see how this worked. First thing we're going to do is we're going to fix our little O up here. But I like that. I think it's kind of fun. Can you see there's just a little gold around it? I'm going to grab this little brush. And this time I'm just going to go into white. I'm just going to make this part white. I'm going to cover up this little dip in there. Might need a couple coats, but that's okay. We'll get this its first coat, and then I will look at any bridges I want to fill. I don't even mind the bridges actually on these, so I think I might just let this be. But there's a couple spots I need to clean up a little bit. So I'm going to dip in. We used holly green in their background. There's just a couple little spots I want to clean up. A little bit of white showing up here. A little cleanup around our O. A couple little spots that are too, oops, that was a boo-boo. That was white paint and not the paint I thought it was. So we're just going to see if we can remove that. Yes, we can. Great. Clean the brush. Dip into some green paint instead. There we go. Cover those up a little bit. A couple spots that just were just a little too rickety over here. Then just going to need a little more white on that O. And I don't mind the bridges that are showing with a little bit of gold. Okay, I was thinking I would really like a gold thin stripe on each side. And to do that, I really would need to tape it on both edges. And that would be the right way to do it, would be to tape it down. And I could do that. I guess I have the tape right here ready to go. So let's see if we can do that. So to do that, one, I would want to lay this just ever so slightly above the line that is already there. Okay, about like that. Okay. Seal it down well. And then with that other piece of tape, drop below that line a little tiny bit. Pretty consistent. There you go, all the way across. Just a little bit of that green showing, maybe a tiny bit of that white. But we're going to come in with that gold color I used. And what I'm actually going to do first is I am going to just come in there with a quick coat of white to make it all closer to one color. Even if it doesn't cover that completely, that's okay. And I'm just going to do one edge at a time just because that way I can use the tape again. We'll hit it with a blow dryer after I hit the white in here first. If you didn't want to do the taping like this, the other thing you could do is just do dots and just have the dots line up right on the edge of that first line we had. Okay, let's hit that with a blow dryer. Make sure it's sealed down. Clean my brush. I'm going to dab into the gold. Your metallic paints are thinner than your regular paints, so very often they need a second coat in general, especially if you're going to go over something like the white here. While that's drying, I've decided that the O here is kind of bothering me. So I'm just going to find one of these shamrocks. It's about the right size. And I'm going to go back and find my green. There's a lighter green. And I think that just camouflages it a little bit. I like that. Let's give it another quick coat of gold here. And let's see what we have. Got a skinny little line of gold on that side of it. We're going to line this up just so it's just above this one, just a tiny bit. Like such. Not sure why I'm getting so wide here. I guess we'll go with that. Well, you know what? We're not going to go with that. We're actually going to tape this up right on the green on this one because we're going to go above this line because we've got a little bit of bleed. So, as close to that green line as I can. I think I'm pretty close. The other one on top. Again, I'll just hit it with the white first to make sure that we're dealing with the same color all the way through. So really press those down. Going with my white. Quick blow dry. Should be dry. Pick up our gold. First coat of our gold. Right across. So if you haven't picked up your St. Patrick's Day stencils, I would urge you to do that soon. And them going on sale, they will probably sell out quickly. Quick coat, I'll give it a quick blow dry, and one more coat, and we should be able to say we are finished with our fun little St. Patrick's Day door hanger. It'll probably just need a nice bow that I might have to pay somebody to do. I'm not a good bow maker. I'm just not. Let's see what we've got after we add this little more gold. And I'm thinking I'm going to want to pull in that gold somewhere else. Oh, look, we bled a little bit. Uh-oh, we'll have to fix that. We can fix that, easy peasy. I think it bled when we did the white. So I'm just going to clean off that little brush I had. I'm going to go into that dark green color we base coated it with, and I'm just going to try to be as close to that line as I can be. Using the chisel edge of my brush to just clean it up a little bit. If there needs any more cleanup, I'll come back with a small little liner brush. But what I was saying is I think because we've added the gold on this little line, it might be advantageous and actually help with some of these little spots that might be a little off. I'm going to pick a little white here and try to clean up these two right here. If you use the chisel edge of your brush, you can do a lot of cleanup pretty quickly because it holds a lot of paint. And a little more of the white showing on the green here, so I'm going to clean the brush really well, go back into that dark green, pull my paint in a nice chisel fashion. Sorry guys, I'm going to have to put my hand this way so I can clean this up. Looks much better. Okay, we did the gold here. I'm just going to use the end of any brush. So I'm going to use this brush. I'm going to make sure I have a good puddle of this gold paint. Okay. And I'm going to come up in my shamrock section and I'm going to do some dots, dot, 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 dot. Maybe I'll do some tri-dots, sets of 3. Some single dots. So that I've added a little bit of dot, so it pulls the gold back up in that section. And if you wanted to, you could do the same thing going down here too. We could Maybe just make it single. Go dip, dot, dip, dot, dip, dot. Just a gold dot in the center of the green, solid green squares. One dip, one dot will give you pretty consistent sized dots. If I would keep going dip, dot, 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 they would get smaller. So every dot, I'm going back and dipping into my paint. Trying to get them in the center. That one was not in the center, neither was that one. Perfectly imperfect is fine with me. So there we go. That is our welcome shamrock sign. All right, guys, I'm going to show it to you all the way back. I think I like it. I think I might go around the edge with gold as well, but I think that'll work. I think a nice shamrocky bow will look very pretty on it. All right, guys, that's it. I guess I get to go clean brushes and probably get ready to think about dinner time. Have a great rest of your Friday. Hope your weekend is fabulous. If you're following me over on Virtual Home Decor Marketplace, we have a pop-up sale tomorrow morning at 10:30. That'll be primarily Valentine's and a little St. Patrick's. And then we'll be back at 7:30 p.m. for a sale that'll be mostly spring. So if you're looking for some ideas, please join us over on Virtual Home Decor Marketplace at 10:30 a.m. and 7:30 p.m. Hey, till I see you again, please be kind and cheers.